Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. We're going to get started in a minute or two here. We've had a little change of environment at the last second. So as you can see, I'm just getting set up outside. Just give me a minute or two and we'll go ahead and get started with class. Thanks for joining. So I'm to have a class outside. It's a little chilly, all I got right now, but we'll go ahead and get this started in a minute. Just making sure the stream is going well. You can get started by just getting in a comfortable seat on your mat, sitting cross-legged or hips on the heels if you'd like. All right. I think we are all set up. Okay, thanks again for joining me and minding the technical difficulties to get started. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Should be coming loud and clear through the Bluetooth. My name is Daniel Schleig. I will be your instructor today. Thank you for joining me. We're just going to have a nice little gentle flow. We're just going to have some fun moving outside today. Got my trees with me wherever you are. Just make sure you're taking deep breaths as you move, and we're just going to have some fun. So make sure you're in a comfortable seated position. The legs are crossed at the shins. Sit bones are rooted down to the ground. If you like to sit up on something, you can. You can either roll your mat up. Sometimes I like to do that just to get a little bit of elevation. If you have blocks, you can sit on blocks. A lot of times sitting up on something helps you to kind of straighten your back a little bit. So if that works for you, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're going to get started seated. And let's just get started with some breath work. I love starting out with some pranayama. It's called Samavriti, which stands for equal breathing. It's going to be equal parts inhale, equal parts exhale. So what I'd like you to do is inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. I'm going to count through some rounds of breathing. When you inhale, if you can inhale deeply and completely, filling up the entire chest. And when you exhale, just exhale out everything from the lungs. So if you're ready, make sure you're in a comfortable seated position. Let's get started. Exhale out all the breath to start. And when you're ready, follow along. Inhale through the nose, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just relax your breathing. Return to your normal breath. If your eyes were closed or your gaze was softened, you can gently blink your eyes open. And we're going to go ahead and get started on our backs. So, come onto your back. Legs are going to extend out to start on your backs. Shoulder blades rooted, bottoms of the feet are flexed, toes are coming back towards your face. Just gently pressing the heels down into the ground. Arms are out to the side, start with your palms face up. Take an inhale here and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Okay, inhale, let's hug both knees into your chest and just give them a light squeeze. Take an inhale here and exhale. And now gently rock left and right, just kind of bringing some awareness to that low back. Might be a little tense from the day. You're just starting to open it up, just starting to release any little bit of tension there. Gently rocking left and right. And just come back to stillness in the middle. Take an inhale and exhale. Okay, we're going to start moving now. So let's inhale, extend our right leg forward. Hug the left knee into your chest. Take an inhale here. And exhale as you switch. So draw the right knee into your chest. Inhale that left leg out, bottom of the heel to the ground. Inhale. Exhale, let's switch. Left knee comes in, right leg extends out, right foot is flexed. Take an inhale. And exhale, draw that right knee into your chest. Extend that left leg forward. Flex those feet. Inhale. Exhale, switch again. We'll do this a couple more times. Take an inhale here. Exhale, switch right knee into your chest. Extend that left leg forward. Take an inhale. And exhale, extend that right leg forward. We'll do it one more time on the left side. Draw that right knee in. Extend that left leg forward. One more inhale here. And exhale, drawing both knees into your chest this time. Arms can come around the shins or the thighs. And if your knees don't come quite in close to your chest, you can keep your heels on the ground. We're just here for 2 more breaths. Gently hugging those knees in towards your chest. One more breath here. And exhale. All right, we're just going to add our arms to that same routine. But before we go any further, I want you to bring some awareness to your lower back. Take one of your hands, see if you can slip it underneath your lower back. I can almost get my hand under there. Feel a little bit of a cavity there. I want to see what it feels like to you. Are you rounding your back or arching your back, I should say, too much? We want to try not have too much of a curve down there. So to correct that, we can hug our navel in and down towards our spine to correct that where I can't get my hand underneath now. Otherwise, I can shoot it right under there. So if I hug my navel in and down towards my lower spine, kind of helps to correct that. That's going to help out a lot when we add our arms to this exercise. So this next sequence, take an inhale. and exhale. All right, this time inhale, extend your left leg forward, your right arm back. And let's switch that. Exhale, send that left leg forward, right foot back. And let's switch. Right knee in, right arm back. Left knee in, left arm back. Switch again. Right knee in, right arm back. Left knee in, left arm extends. Switch it two more times. Right knee in, right arm back. Left knee in, left arm back. One more time. Right knee in, extend that right arm back. Left knee in, left arm back. And just bring everything back into the center of your chest. Take an inhale here. And exhale. All right, great. Got a little warmed up. We're going to move to tabletop now. So you can get to tabletop whatever way you'd like. If you want to roll up and down your back, you can. If you just want to go off to the side and press yourself up, you can do that as well. Either way, we're coming up into tabletop. Now, from tabletop, you should have your arms underneath your shoulders and your knees directly beneath your hips. So your knees are going to be a little bit closer than your arms, most likely. Top to the feet or to the ground. Those are going to be hips width distance as well. So if you take a peek between your thighs, you really shouldn't see those feet. They should be hiding behind your thighs there. Now, with your arms pressing down, take some take a look at your wrist creases. Those wrist creases should be lined up with the short edge of your mat or slightly turned out. If they're slightly turned in, that's going to put a little bit too much excess pressure on your wrists. So make sure they're either lined up with that short edge or slightly turned out. Fingers should be separated, but you shouldn't be extreme as far as separating your fingers away from each other, just enough to give you some nice stability. Start to press down through the base of each finger and each palm, and press down through the tops of the feet and the shins. Now, remember what we did to our when we were on our back with our navel? We hugged our navel in and down towards our lower spine. I want you to try and do that same thing here in tabletop. So this time you're hugging your navel in and up towards that lower spine. Your abdominal muscles may start to engage now. You're gonna have a nice long straight back. Chin is slightly tucked, gaze is 2 or 3 feet out in front of those fingers. Take an inhale here. And exhale. This can easily be an active pose. Take an inhale and exhale. All right, we're gonna extend our legs back, just kind of like how we started on our back. So take one inhale here and exhale. All right, let's inhale that right leg back, right toes down to the ground. Stay for a breath. And exhale, release that right knee down. Let's switch, extend that left leg back, left toes to the ground. Take an inhale. And exhale, release one more time. Extend that right leg back, right toes to the ground. Take an inhale. And exhale, release. Extend that left leg back, left toes flex, pointing to the ground. And exhale, release. Let's add the arms to it. So we're going to be balancing on 2 limbs now. So make sure you're in your tabletop. Arms are still beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. It's going to give you the best stability for this pose. So here we go. Extend the right arm forward, the left leg back this time. Left toes are flexed. Stay for an inhale. And exhale, release. Let's switch sides. Extend the left arm forward, right foot back, right toes to the ground. Inhale. Exhale, release. Let's switch that. Right arm forward, left leg back, left toes to the ground. Inhale. Exhale, release. One more time on the left side. Extend that right leg back, left arm forward. Inhale. And exhale, release both down to the ground. Let's press yourself back into your version of child's pose. So your knees can be separated with your feet separate, about hips width distance if you'd like. Your knees can be all the way out to the width of the mat with your toes touching, or you can keep your toes touching and knees come in towards the center. Either way, go ahead and press yourself back. Hips are coming back towards the heels. Forehead comes to the mat. Arms extend out in front of you, or you can have your arms down by your sides. Just begin to take some nice deep breaths while you're in your child's pose. Okay, begin to press yourself back up. Walk your hands back toward your thighs. Lift up gently. You're coming back to sit on your knees, or sit on your thighs, I should say. So, if this is too uncomfortable for you to sit like this, you can always sit on some blocks if you have them, or a pillow, or if you just want to come back to a cross-legged seated position, you can do that as well. Otherwise, we're going to sit here with our knees together, the tips of our big toes together, sitting our thighs on top of our heels. So while we're here, place your hands on your thighs, take an inhale, and exhale. All right, let's inhale those arms out and up, chest up, look up, palms face each other. Exhale, release the arms down to the sides. Do that one more time. Inhale, arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, release down to the sides. Let's add a twist. Inhale, arms up, chest up. Exhale, turn to your right, release both arms down to the sides. Inhale, come back to center, both arms up. Exhale, turn to your left, both arms to the outside. Let's inhale back to center, both arms up. Exhale, turn to your right, both arms down. Inhale back to the center, and exhale down to the left. Back up to center, and exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the side. Now we're going to add a little bit of a lean to that. So, inhale, both arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, release that right hand down. Extend that left arm up. Keep those sit bones rooted to whatever you're sitting on. And try and extend through both sides, both your right side and your left side. Left arm extends up. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, bring both arms up, palms touch. Let's switch to the other side. Drop that left arm down. Extend that right arm up. We're looking for length here. Length on both sides of the body. Don't forget about that left side. Try not to let it crunch too much. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bring both arms back up. One more time, each side. Drop that right arm down. Extend that left arm out and up. Take an inhale. And exhale. All right, inhale, both arms up, back to center. And exhale, drop that left arm down. Extend that right arm up. Last time here, extending both sides. And exhale. Bring both arms back up. Drop them down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. All right. It's getting a little cold out here, so I am ready to move and warm up. I hope you are too. I think we're ready to go. So let's come back to tabletop position just for a moment. Now, in our tabletop, again, make sure your hands are shoulder width distance, knees are hips width distance, tops of the feet are to the ground to start. Gently hugging that navel in and up towards your back. Let's add some cat-cows real quick. So we're going to inhale as we drop our navel, send our chest forward, lift our head up, look up. Exhale, reverse that round the back, draw the shoulder blades away from each other, let the head drop down. Reverse that, inhale, arch the back, send the heart forward, gaze looks up, cow. Exhale into cat, round your back, separate the shoulder blades, drop the head down. One more time, inhale as you arch your back, send the heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head falls low. Come back to neutral position. And in your tabletop here, we're coming into downward facing dog. So begin by curling those back toes under now. Lifting the knees up, lifting the legs up and back, straightening the legs into downward facing dog. Once you're here, you can bend your knees, you can walk your dog, just kind of bringing one heel up and the other. Waking up the backs of the legs. Still pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Just our first downward facing dog here, so we're just getting nice and comfortable. Feet should still be hips width distance. Maybe you want to raise one leg up and raise the other. Just take about 3 more breaths to get into your first downward facing dog. If you're ever in downward facing dog and you need a break, you can always drop back down towards your tabletop and even press yourself back into child's pose. Either way, up to you. Come back to stillness now in your downward facing dog. Take an inhale and exhale. Okay, inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet are hips width distance, stay in your forward fold. Knees are bent as much as you need to, maybe your chest rests on your thighs. We're going to come into ragdoll pose here.
So first begin by grabbing opposite elbows, letting your head hang heavy in between both arms. And you're here, or if you want to gently rock left and right, you can. Just keep pressing those feet down into the mat. Rocking back and forth just gently, or just staying central. You can release a little bit of tension in that low back. Soften your shoulder blades away from your ears. And let's come back to stillness in the center. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, release the arms down. Stay in your forward fold. Let your arms and head hang heavy. We're going to roll up to standing, but we're just going to take our time, rolling up from the lower back one vertebrae at a time. So take your time and meet me up at the top. Your head and your arms are going to be the last thing to arrive.
All right, once you're here, let's go ahead and shrug those shoulders out a little bit. Now we're ready to move. Okay, so let's start at the top of your mat. Feet or hips width distance, heels behind those center toes. Now we're going to work through our sun salutations or Surya Namaskar. So make sure those feet are nice and parallel. You're actively kind of drawing the tailbone down towards the ground, lifting those frontal hip points up towards the front bottom ribs, softening the shoulder blades away from the ears. Palms are down at your side to start. Palms face forward, arms are down at the side. Take an inhale and exhale. All right, here we go. Inhale, arms out and up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Stay here for a breath. Palms can be to the ground, fingertips to the ground, hands can be on your shins. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Hands are going to be on the shins for this one. Take an inhale. And exhale, bend the knees, forward fold again. Now place both palms to the ground, bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. Once you feel nice and stable on your palms, you're going to send your right foot back, you're going to send your left foot back. You're now in a plank, or like an upward push-up. Shoulder blades should be directly over the wrists, and feet or hips width distance. We're here for a couple breaths. If you ever need to, you can drop to your knees and plank. Otherwise, stay here for 2 or 3 more breaths. Shoulders should be directly over the wrists. Those wrist creases should still be lined up with that short edge of the mat. Keep pressing those heels back down towards the ground. One more inhale. And exhale. I want you to press yourself back and up into downward facing dog. So press that chest back towards the heel. Lift those thighs up towards the ceiling. And let's shift our torso back and forward into plank. Shoulders over wrists. Let's inhale back and up. Legs can bend in a downward facing dog. And exhale, come back into your plank. 2 more times. Inhale, bend the knees. Lift up, press back into downward facing dog. Exhale, come back into your plank. Shoulders over wrist. One more time. Bend the knees. Inhale as you lift up and back into downward facing dog. Exhale, come back into plank. Now everyone drop your knees to the ground. Send your torso forward. Bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Everything comes down to the mat. Now uncurl those back toes so the tops of the toes are to the ground. Draw the backs of your shoulder blades together. Press the tops of your feet into the ground, tops of your legs into the ground. Take an inhale as you lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Keep drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together. Drawing that tailbone down towards your heels. One more inhale. And exhale, release that forehead to the ground. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up to tabletop. With the toes curled under, lift the hips up into downward facing dog again. Now we're here for 3 breaths, making sure those heels are still lined up with those second and third toes. Feet are hips width distance, arms are shoulder width distance. Palms are pressing down into the mat. Take one more inhale and exhale. Now inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, place those hands on the shins, stay here for a breath, looking for a nice long spine. Straighten the legs if you can. And exhale, bend the knees forward, fold, release your arms. And we're coming up, so inhale, arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. We're going to do that one more time. We're just going to pick up the pace a little bit. So if I'm going a little too fast, you can always go at your pace. Here we go. Inhale, arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, drop your hands to the ground. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank. Stay here for a breath. Drop to your knees if you need to. And now everyone drop to your knees. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Press those tops of the feet into the ground. On your next inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Stay here for a breath, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together. One more inhale here. And exhale, release. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. Lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog again. We're here for 3 more breaths. Actively pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm. Drawing those triceps in and pressing those biceps out to keep those arms nice and straight. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. Nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. All right, well done. You can shake it out a little bit. We're going to come to the center of your mat and we're going to get into a wide-legged stance. So, starting in a nice wide-legged stance, heels are behind the center toes, feet are nice and parallel. You're about one leg's distance apart. Now bring your hands toward your hips and take an inhale and exhale. All right, inhale as you arch your back slightly. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. Take your time, bending at your waist. Once you get about halfway down, you can release your arms to the ground. If you have any blocks, you can place your hands on blocks. Your palms can come to the ground. You can keep your fingertips on the ground. Just stay here. Either way, you're actively hugging those legs in towards each other as you're pressing the feet down into the mat. Especially the outside edges of those feet, pressing those down as you hug those legs towards each other. Start to move some of the weight more into your toes rather than your heels, but keep your heels on the ground. If your palms are on the mat, you can start to walk them back towards the back edge of your mat. Either way, wherever you are, making sure your arms are shoulder width distance, still hugging those triceps in. Take one more inhale here and exhale. All right, let's inhale, walk your hands back, forward, and up. Come up halfway, bring those arms toward your hips, and inhale, lift up all the way back up. Release your arms down to the sides, and draw your legs back in towards each other. That was our Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, let's come back towards the front edge of your mat. Start with your feet hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. As far as your tailbone, you want to draw that down towards your heels, actively lifting the frontal hip points up to those front bottom ribs. Try and breathe into the back ribs, drawing the shoulder blades away from the ears. Arms are down to your sides, palms face forward. Take an inhale and exhale. And we're going to inhale as we bend our knees, arms come forward, palms face each other. You're in your chair pose. Take a peek down, look at those toes, make sure you can see them. If you can't see your toes, you need to shift your hips back a little bit farther. Palms should face each other, arms should be nice and straight. Stay in your chair pose. I am going to check the stream, make sure we're still live. I will be quick, maybe turn on some lights here because it's getting a little dark. But you guys got this. Stay in your pose. 2 more breaths. And on your next inhale, last inhale, last exhale, go ahead and release into your forward fold. Knees can still bend. Stay in your forward fold. Okay, hopefully this light helps. From your forward fold, let's inhale, lift up halfway, place your hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale back down into your forward fold, placing your hands on the mat, stepping your right foot back, stepping your left foot back. We're in our plank again. We're staying here for 3 breaths. If you need to, you can drop to your knees, otherwise you're staying in your plank. Softly drawing your navel in and up, pressing the heels back, making sure those feet are hips width distance, hands are shoulder width distance. One more inhale here, and exhale. Now we're going to drop our knees to the ground, shift our torso forward, bend the elbows back and lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Inhale as you lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Maybe you want to straighten your arms and come up into full cobra. Either way, you're pressing the tops of the feet and the legs into the ground. One more inhale. Exhale wherever you are, releasing down to the mat. Curling the back toes under, pressing yourself up into tabletop, lifting your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now we're not going to stay here. We're going to lift our leg up. So just like we had in the beginning of practice, lifting that right leg up and back, flexing those right toes so those right toes face the ground. Take an inhale and exhale. All right, now you're going to bend that right knee, send the right knee into your chest, shift your torso forward into a modified plank pose here with your knees up, and drop that foot to the ground wherever it lands. Once you have it on the ground, wiggle it up to the top of your mat, and make sure your right foot is on the right side of your mat. The left foot is on the left side of the mat. Now drop that left knee to the ground. Uncurl the back toes so the tops of the toes are to the ground. Now make sure this right knee is tracking over that right ankle. Come up on your fingertips. Press down through both feet, the bottom of the front foot, the top of that back left foot. And on your next inhale, lift your arms up and your chest up into Anjaneyasana. Palms face each other. They can touch or they can stay separate. Your biceps should be right next to your ears though. Letting the pelvis come forward, raising the heart up. Keep pressing the top heel into the mat. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, release those arms down to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Lift that back heel up. Send that right foot to meet the back foot. We're in our plank again. We're here just for a breath. Take an inhale and exhale. Drop those knees to the ground. Shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Lift up into your version of baby cobra or full cobra. And exhale, release down to the mat. Curl the back toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Okay, we got to do the other side, so here we go. Lift that left leg up this time. Left toes are flexed. They're facing the ground. Take an inhale here. And exhale. All right, bend that left knee. Send the left knee into your chest. Torso comes forward. Shoulders are over wrists in a modified plank pose. Drop that left foot down wherever it lands. Then you can walk it up to the top of the mat. Make sure those left foot is on the left side of the mat. Right foot's on that right side of the mat. Drop that right knee to the ground. Uncurl those back right toes. Make sure you have that left knee over that left ankle. Come up on the tips of your fingers. Take an inhale. And exhale. All right, let's inhale those arms up. Chest up, torso up, palms face each other. Making sure that left knee still tracks over that left ankle. Letting the pelvis come forward as the heart raises up. Take one more inhale. And exhale, release the arms forward and down to the mat. Curl those back toes under, lift that back knee up. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. We're in our plank for just a breath here. And drop the knees to the ground. Shift the torso forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, lift up into your version of cobra. Either way, you're drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together, pressing the legs into the mat. One more inhale here. And exhale, releasing down to the ground. Curling the back toes under, pressing yourself up into tabletop. This time, press yourself back into your version of child's pose. Uncurl those back toes if you'd like.
Knees can be separate, they can be together, they can be to the width of your mat. Tips of the toes can touch or stay hips width distance. Arms can stay out in front of you or they can come back beside your feet. Forehead to the mat or to a block or to a pillow, whatever you may have. Stay here. Start to deepen your breaths. Okay, now begin to press yourself back up. Take your time walking your hands back up. And once you're up, you're going to spin those legs in and around and bring those legs in front of you. So with our knees bent, we have our legs out in front of us. Keep those feet hips width distance to start. Knees are hips width distance as well. You have a nice little bend here. Now keep the tops of the feet on the ground for now. And we're going to just play around with Navasana boat pose. There's a couple variations of this, and I'll walk you through each one. Each one has its own challenge to it. So begin by just placing your hands behind you, fingertips to the ground, fingers are facing forward. And you're gently just going to rock yourself back, come up onto your heels, and rock back as far enough as you can to where your heels just start to come off the ground. Now keep those fingertips on the ground. Heels are just an inch or two off the ground, knees are still bent. Take an inhale and exhale. Just bring some awareness to your spine. Make sure you're not rounding, you're still rooting down those sit bones and you're rising up through the crown of your head. One more inhale here. And exhale, release the heels down to the ground. Just rock yourself forward gently, placing the bottoms of the feet to the ground. Okay, we're going to try that again, but now without our hands. Let's see how that feels. So, go ahead and clasp your hands around your shins, and let's try that same thing. Keeping your knees bent, we're going to slowly rock back onto our heels. That's step one. And step two is to bring both heels off the ground, maybe an inch or two, and just play around with that. See how that feels. Again, are you severely rounding your back? Try and elongate that spine, rooting down through the sit bones. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, rock forward slightly, bring those heels to the ground, bring the whole foot to the ground, and just release the arms down to the sides. All right, let's try that again. We're going to have the option to raise our shins up parallel to the mat. So if that's too much for you, you can stay where we were. Otherwise, let's go for it. So starting with your hands on your shins, we're going to slowly rock back onto our heels. Now lifting your heels off an inch or two off the ground. Staying here if you'd like, or if you want to, try and raise those shins up parallel to the mat. Try not to compromise yourself by rounding your back. Take an inhale here. And exhale, release those heels down to the mat, gently releasing the bottoms of the feet to the mat. All right, we're not going to stop there. We've got another level to go for. We can also extend our arms out and forward. So that's going to be the next step if you'd like to try. So here we go. We're going to rock ourselves back, come up onto our heels, lift the heels off an inch or two. You can stay here if you'd like. If you want, try and lift those shins up parallel to the mat. Stay in here or release your arms forward, palms face up. You're still elongating that spine, lifting up to the crown of the head, rooting down those sit bones, hugging the outer edges of those feet in. Take one more inhale. And exhale, release that back down to the ground. All right. Whew, that's as far as we can take it, right? We got one more step. If you want to try, we're going to try and straighten our legs while we're up and release our arms forward. That's the closest to a full Navasana boat pose as we're going to get today. That's taking it to another level. If you are comfortable with wherever we've been so far, stick with that. Otherwise, we're going there. So here we go. Hopefully you guys can still see me. It's getting pretty dark out. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Full Navasana boat pose. Starting with your hands on your shins, slowly rocking yourself back onto your heels, lifting your heels off an inch or two off the ground. Stay here if you like. You're still getting all those same actions. Otherwise, you can lift the shins up to hip height, release the arms forward, palms come up.
Okay, if you're coming with me, we're straightening those legs. So see if we can straighten them up. You can point the toes, get those legs as straight as you can, get that back as straight as you can. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, just gently release everything to the mat. Whew, that was tough. Wherever you were, I hope you got a nice, good feeling out of that. You should feel it kind of in the outside of your thighs and slightly in your abdominal region as well. Okay, so we're coming back to standing. So just take your time, come back up to standing. We're going to work on a balancing pose. We kind of work the outside of our thighs, so I want to see what we do now, working that into a one-legged balancing pose. So this is tree pose. You may be familiar with it, it may be new to you. I always like doing this. It's so much fun. There's again different versions of getting into this. But the way I like to do it is starting at the top of your mat, bring your feet hips width distance, heels behind the center toes, just like we normally start in our sequences with our mountain pose. You're going to actively draw that tailbone down towards your heels. Arms are by your sides to start, palms face forward. Gently soften the shoulder blades away from the ears, just prepping here. Take an inhale and exhale. Okay, we're going to move into our balancing pose now. Tree pose. Let's shift our weight into our right foot. Now, gently bend your left knee, bring your left heel off the ground. Now, externally rotate that entire left leg out, but try not to let your pelvis come back. So keep that pelvis neutral and just rotate that leg with your toes still on the ground as much as you can. Once you've gone to your capacity, you can stay here, or if you want, wiggle those toes in so that the bottom of your left heel comes to your right shin, your right calf. Now you can stay here, or if you want, you can bring those left toes off the ground, press the bottom of that left foot into the right shin, stay here, or if you want to, skip the knee, bring that left foot up a little bit higher into that right thigh, pressing the bottom of the left foot into that right leg, regardless of where you are, as long as it's not the knee. You want to skip that. Now hug the outer right thigh in, just kind of like you were doing in your Navasana pose. Now bring the palms together at the center of your chest. Take an inhale here and exhale. All right, let's inhale. Let's grow our branches out and up. Extending those arms nice and straight into a Y shape. Take an inhale here. And exhale, release. Palms down to the center of your chest. Release that left leg down and shake it out. All right, how'd you do on that side? We got another side to go. So here we go. Starting our hips width distance, heels behind center toes again. Arms down to the side, palms face forward. Actively drawing that tailbone down towards the ground, lifting those frontal hip points up, softening the shoulder blades away from the ears, prepping for a tree pose. Now we're going to shift some weight into that left foot this time. Bend that right knee, right heel comes off the ground. Externally rotate that entire right leg and that right knee out. Be mindful of your pelvis coming back. Try and correct that. Keep it neutral. Now stay here, or if you want to, you can wiggle those toes in so at the bottom of the right heel comes to that left calf. You can stay here. You can lift those right toes off the ground, pressing into that left shin. Or you can lift those right heels all the way up past the knee into that left thigh. Bringing your hands to your chest wherever you are. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Hug that outer left thigh in. One more inhale. And ooh, I lost it. Okay, I'll blame it on the wind. Okay, we're going to extend our arms out and up and grow our branches. Nice long tree. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, release the arms down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Now you see why I like that pose. It's always a challenge for me. So let's go ahead and shake it out. Okay, we're just going to move one more time. We're going to get a little bit of kind of rotational twisting in before we kind of start to wind down. Now, I also don't have a clock on me, so I don't know where we are in our sequence, but don't worry. I know we're kind of over the edge now. So let's start at the top of the mat, feet or hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. Let's come into our chair pose again. Inhale, bend your knees, arms come out straight, palms face each other. Send the hips back, make sure you can look down and see those toes. Take an inhale. And exhale. Exhale, release down into your forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold, placing both palms to the ground, bending your knees, stepping the right foot back, stepping the left foot back into your plank. Stay here for a breath. Okay, we're dropping our knees to the ground, shifting our torso forward, bending the elbows and the weight all the way to the mat. Uncurling the back toes, inhaling, lifting up into your version of cobra, baby cobra or full cobra with the arms straight. Either way, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together. One more inhale here. And exhale, release down to the mat. Curl those back toes under, press yourself up into tabletop. Lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now let's lift that right leg back up, right toes face down. Bend the knees, send that torso forward, knee is hovering just for a moment here. And drop the right foot to the mat. Send that right foot up to the top of the mat once you get it there. And now, once you're on both sides, we're going to stay up on that back knee. So, drop this left arm directly beneath your shoulder and place either your palm to the ground or your fingertips to the ground, whichever works for you. Hug this outer right thigh in. And on your next inhale, you're going to reach that right arm out and up. Right palm faces forward. Nice, easy twist. Keep hugging that right thigh in just like what we did in tree pose, trying to keep that pelvis neutral. One more inhale here. Exhale, release that right arm down. Both arms to outside of each foot. See now if you can send your right foot to meet your back foot. We're in our plank pose again, staying here for a breath. And dropping our knees to the ground, sending our torso forward, bending the elbows, lowering all the way to the mat. Uncoiling the back toes, inhaling as you lift up into your version of cobra, baby cobra, or straight arms to full cobra. Pressing the feet down, hugging the outer edges of those ankles in. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing down to the mat. Curling the back toes under, pressing yourself up into tabletop. Lifting your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Let's move to the other side. Let's lift that left leg up, left toes face down, foot is flexed. Bend that left knee into your chest, send the torso forward, stay here for a breath. Shoulders over wrists, and drop that left foot to the mat. Wiggle that left foot up to the top of the mat. Make sure it's on that left side. Right foot is on the right side. Stay up on those toes. Drop to your right knee if you need to. Otherwise, we're staying up. Now, right arm comes underneath that right shoulder, either to the fingertips or palm to the mat. Hugging that left outer thigh in. Inhale as you lift your left arm up. Left palm faces forward. We're here for 2 breaths. Keep hugging that left outer thigh in. One more inhale. And exhale, release that left arm down. Both arms to the mat to either side of that left foot. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. We're in our plank pose again. Staying here for a breath. Last plank pose, I promise. Dropping the knees to the ground. Sending the torso forward, bending the elbows, lowering all the way to the mat. Uncurl those back toes. Lift up into your version of cobra. Staying here for a breath. Keep drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together. One more inhale. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Curling the back toes under, pressing yourself up into tabletop. Lifting your hips up and back into downward facing dog. This is also going to be our last downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths, so let's make it good. Pressing the chest back towards the thighs, lifting those forearms up off the mat. Pressing the heels back down towards the ground. One more inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, we're going to drop our knees to the ground. And we're going to press ourselves back into child's pose again. Your version of child's pose, knees together or apart, top to the feet together or apart. Forehead to the mat, arms out, extended palms facing down, or arms and come back toward your feet. Just connect back with your breath here. We're here for 2 more breaths.
All right, begin to lift yourself up. You're going to swing your legs around one side or the other, whatever your favorite side is. Swinging your legs around, you're coming onto your seat. Feet are out in front of you, knees are bent. Bottoms of the feet onto the ground. Now we're going to roll back onto our backs, nice and slowly, nice and controlled. Now think back to our Navasana when we were doing that before and what helped you kind of keep your balance. So you have a couple options when we roll back. You can either hold on to your shins, hold on to your thighs, or if you really want to challenge yourself one last time, arms can come out in front of you. So for me, I'm going to hold on to my shins and we're just going to gently roll back. Try and roll back one vertebrae at a time. Nice and controlled and as slow as you can go. Rolling onto your back. Now, once you're on your back, walk your feet underneath your knees so that your ankles are directly underneath your knees. You might need to feel that. You might graze your fingertips with your heels, but make sure those feet are hips width distance and they're still nice and parallel. Now we're going to come up into bridge pose. So you're going to start with your arms down at your side, palms face down towards on the mat. Actively press down through all four corners of the feet. Press the palms down into the mat. Press your shoulders down. And on your next inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, and chest up into your bridge pose. You're still pressing those shoulder blades down. Maybe you'll wiggle them underneath. Keep pressing the palms down. If your knees start to separate, try and bring them back in to hips width distance. You can spin your inner thighs in and down to bring those knees back together. Stay for one more inhale. And exhale, gently roll down from the top of your spine. Lower back is the last to arrive. And stay here for a moment. Heel toe your feet out to the width of the mat. Let your knees fall into touch. From here, let's send those knees left and right, very gently, very slowly, taking your time. Just constructive rest to release anything in that low SI joint, that low spine. And come back to stillness with your knees touching. And then heel toe your feet back to hips width distance. Separate your knees back to hips width distance. And we're coming up to bridge number 2. So, again, make sure your feet are closer to your heels. Maybe they graze your fingertips. You want those heels underneath your knees. Pressing the palms down into the ground, pressing all four corners of the feet into the mat. Start to engage the muscles in those legs. Press your shoulders down, and on your next inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your bridge pose here. Again, spinning those inner thighs in and down to keep those knees, hips width distance. Draw the chin away from the chest and draw the chest towards the chin as you do that. Maybe you softly roll those shoulder blades under to get a little more elevation. Keep pressing those heels into the mat. Take one more inhale. And exhale, release those shoulder blades. Release down to the mat slowly from the top of your spine. And once you're all the way down, again, heel to those feet out to the width of the mat. Let the knees fall into touch. And you're in your constructive rest. And you can let your knees fall out from side to side, left and right if you'd wish. And it looks like we're going to be wrapping up this live stream sooner than I anticipated. My phone's not on battery. I think it has 2% left, so if I cut out, my apologies. But we're coming into our Shavasana soon anyways. So bring your knees back to stillness. Separate those knees out. Feet are hips width distance, knees are hips width distance. Let's add one more twist. So bring your feet up off the ground. Send your knees to the right, both knees to the right. Let them fall to the mat. Extend both arms out to a T, palms face up. And you're in your nice twists here. This is just releasing any last little bit of